Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the ThreeCount Podcast. Today, I am joined with the Hymantor, the two-censored Hymantor. Hello, how are you doing, man?
Well, ladies and gentlemen of the beautiful people of Wrestling Amino, it is the one and only the Hymantor, and today I'm here with Luke today with featuring in his podcast. How is everyone doing this fine evening?
I just realized that I totally botched up your name.
Just like every other person.
Yeah,
Jesus
yeah. No,
Christ.
but for real, until like the start of this podcast, I really thought it was Hymenator and not Hymander.
Well, it could be worse. It could be Hyman Tater. That used to literally be my YouTube name.
Oh wow, that's very interesting. But then again, you
Trust
did
me,
that
I
yourself,
hate to
right?
say it. Yeah, that was a spell check.
Okay, okay. That's actually insane. So yeah, of course you're well known on Wrestling Amino, the platform for your very informative news blogs, which very often get pinned, and yeah,
Yeah.
are very good to read up on news with. Um,
This is not the only thing I do anymore.
oh no, what is what else is there then?
Well, I upload news blogs just on occasion just to prove to people that I'm alive.
Mm-hmm.
You've noticed I'm very inactive as of recently, mainly because of how busy I've been with personal life. So news blogs are pretty much a signal just like, okay, I'm alive, I'm posting, I'm allowed to, I can do whatever the hell I want, and just constantly work on them, mainly because I love doing it.
Yeah.
Whenever it comes to my other blogs, especially the Moments series, the Moments is a series that I dedicated specifically to New Japan, and I have been writing that for since I believe February, and I've been constantly working on it, constantly improving it. And then I'm starting to do Hymantor reviews, which is just reviews of certain shows that in my opinion, are good.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so indeed you don't only do news blogs. And I really urge people to check out his other blogs. For example, he did or you did, I should just say you did a Stardom review recently. We'll get into Stardom a bit later. But yeah, your reviews are very informative as well, and of course your Moment series, as you just mentioned, are always a good read. So please check them out, people. Um, yeah, this was a busy week for wrestling, wasn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
We've had a lot of good moments. We've had a lot of controversy. But
And a lot of
overall,
bad moments.
yeah, bad moments. Yeah. Overall, it's just a week in the unpredictable business of professional wrestling. And the week, basically, for me at least, started on Sunday with TLC, WWE's yearly pay per view, where tables, ladders, and chairs usually get put all over the card. Not in this
But
case, though.
they only did one.
Yep, and it even wasn't something where they had to retrieve something, but just pin someone
Yeah,
and yeah,
just pin. Just like last year's main event.
yeah. So, how did you like the pay per view overall?
With the entire pay-per-view being based on only 1 to 2 matches, mainly because of the entire Roman Reigns and the rest of the group of people, Bray Wyatt, JoJo, including someone else, I can't remember the name.
Bo Dallas.
Yeah, Bo Dallas. Whenever those guys got sick, I took a huge guess that the card for TLC was going to be pretty garbage.
Yeah,
Like I was literally only watching the show for the main event and Styles versus Finn, including the very first match, which was Asuka versus Emma.
yeah, yeah. I've heard that quite a lot. Overall, I liked the pay per view. I mean, the matches were good. Not all they weren't all great, but um,
I have
I
like 3 matches I could talk about, but that's it. I
yeah,
don't remember the card that well.
yeah. We had some matches. I don't even know, Mickey James versus Alexa Bliss.
Hit or miss with me. Definitely a hit or miss match.
Yeah, yeah.
I liked Asuka and Emma.
Asuka and Emma was a very solid match. Although I've heard some controversy about it, mainly because, you know, people say it would have been better if they just made Asuka this dominant person who won the match in like 2 minutes. What are your
Oh,
thoughts on
I
that?
hate that. Well, here's the thing. I think very outside the box whenever it comes to wrestling booking.
Mm-hmm.
The way that Asuka was booked against Emma was actually perfect. Asuka faced Emma in the very beginning in NXT. Like
Yeah.
NXT Takeover London, I believe. That was her first takeover match, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. I think it
And it
might have.
would have
Yeah,
made
it was her first
and
takeover
it
match. I
wouldn't have
think.
made sense if Asuka would have completely beaten Emma in a minute, because that's pretty much, I believe, what her first match was. Like, if I remember correctly, it was like 6 to 7 minutes, and that's a lot considering how much time women's wrestlers get today.
Yeah.
But it's a major thing to book Emma as a dominant babyface, but also make the other wrestler look good.
Mhm.
Like I absolutely, and I will absolutely mean this to my core. I absolutely hate wrestlers that constantly just beat wrestlers in a second or
Yeah.
like under a minute. Like
So
I absolutely hate that. I get the entire gimmick. Yes, I do, but it's just bullshit.
So, how do you think about that when, for example, Goldberg returned and floored Lesnar in like a minute something?
Oh, great, this topic.
Oh God.
Goldberg, Goldberg, Brock Lesnar, The Rock, Batista, and all those other part-timers, what do they have in common? That they are part-timers.
Mm-hmm.
I have written an article about it very long ago called Undeserved Millions, talking about the entire Brock Lesnar and Goldberg main event,
Yeah.
talking about how they're not in tune with today's generation.
Yeah.
Well, I absolutely hate it. I absolutely hate Goldberg with a passion. I get
Okay.
it if
Okay.
he was incredibly popular at his time, but
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
is literally it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I can see your point there. To be honest, if I kind of agree with you. I don't really like the 1 minute or 2 minute squash match or whatever. I did really like Emma vs Asuka because not only did it show Asuka as a very dominant force, yet someone who can still do very well in the ring. It also showcased Emma in one of her better matches, which is good because now both women got a good showcase. Asuka looked dominant, Emma looked good in the match, and I think the match really did something to elevate both of the superstars.
Yeah, that's definitely something I agree with.
And then TLC, there's one match we both really want to talk about, but before we do that, let's quickly go to the main event. Kurt Angle. How did Kurt Angle in this match make you feel?
I've always had a mixed view about Kurt Angle.
Mm-hmm.
I respect him. I respect him in the ring. I respect every wrestler, to be honest.
Yeah.
But whenever it came to this match in particular, mainly because it was a tables, ladders, and chairs match, it just didn't feel right with me. I
Okay.
know it, like I know Kurt Angle was the last minute replacement, but the way he was booked the entire show was completely overdone. That's at least my view.
Yeah. I I get what you mean. Myself, for example, I really did not like that Kurt Angle came out with the Shield in Shield gear. Um,
I thought that was actually pretty funny.
I mean, it was like solid. It was a good plan, for the WWE, and I mean, in the end, it's not as bad as I like thought, but
Remember it?
yeah, yeah. I mean, Kurt Angle looking like the most happy kid in the world. That kind of
Yeah,
threw me off,
the
but
proud father.
yeah, exactly.
The
No,
proud
but
father of his two Shield sons.
yeah, no, but Kurt Angle. If he returned, it should have been a bit more of a higher profile
Oh,
one-on-one
definitely.
match.
Definitely. I can definitely see that. I would actually really like to see Kurt Angle and Cesaro.
Kurt Angle and Cesaro would blow off the roof. Like that. That would
I can
actually.
guarantee that.
That would actually be an amazing match. And I mean, I like.
That's something. That's my biggest con about that match. It's not the fact that Kurt Angle and Cesaro didn't have zero. They had zero alteration. I think they have one suplex, and that is literally it.
Might have
You
been,
know,
yeah.
certain matches have face-offs, and I absolutely love face-offs when it comes to wrestlers that are, in my opinion, very popular
Yeah.
or have a potential to put on a great match. Like Kurt Angle and The Miz, that could actually be a decent match. Kurt
Oh yeah,
Angle and
definitely.
Cesaro, definitely with them. Kurt Angle and Braun would definitely be interesting.
Oh, it would be interesting. And it would likely be good. That's basically what we all want. I mean, of course, you know, a standoff between Cesaro and Kurt Angle would probably
Mm,
have made, it would have at least built up tension, maybe even
for a
result
possible
in a
match.
match. Yeah, exactly, and that would be good. I mean, I really like Cesaro and Sheamus together. I honestly do, but Cesaro, he is, in my opinion, made to be a singles guy. He is
Yeah,
very
definitely.
solid in the ring, and he can really hold his own. Like back in 2016, just after he returned, he had this sequence in the Money in the Bank ladder match,
Yeah, his
which
uppercut.
yeah, which was just so over with the fans. And I mean, for a guy who a year before heard from Vince McMahon that basically
He's
he
not ready.
he's not ready now. Well, he was ready. He showed that the fans showed that they were ready for Cesaro, and Cesaro, after the brand split, basically he's good, but I think he could have done more as a singles guy, which I would really have liked.
It's a matter of time.
Yeah,
It's a matter of time before Cesaro turns or Sheamus turns.
yeah,
I
yeah.
can just see it coming a mile away.
I mean, I can say
You
that for
know,
so
you know
many
WWE.
teams right now in
You can
WWE.
say what, yeah, you can say that with WWE just because they constantly break up tag teams.
Yeah, and for that, I mean, on one side,
They've broke with like seven this year, I
yeah.
think. I think
Let's look.
seven's the official
Enzo
number.
Cass, Jericho and Owens. You can say, uh,
DIY.
DIY, American Alpha. Yeah, that's quite a lot of tag team breakups. And when you look at the independent circuit, or for example, ROH and New Japan, you see some
Mhm.
tag teams which you just quite can be quite sure of they won't break up. Uh,
Yeah, the thing is, whenever it comes to New Japan tag teams, they're just constantly booked to win championships and then lose them. One of my least
mhm.
favorite things about New Japan booking.
Yeah, yeah. That I mean, I've watched some of the New Japan tag scene, and I don't know how many times have the Young Bucks been champion in NGPW already now.
Six or seven?
Yeah, exactly. And
They're the junior champions, though.
yeah,
That's
junior
the
champions. Yeah,
difference.
that's a big difference. If we look at the actual, just the
Heavyweights.
heavyweights, yeah. Let me actually check New Japan.
Killer Elite Squad is the current champion. Oh, yeah,
Uh,
that's news. Forgot about that.
is that news? I haven't been able to follow it too much
I watch it
because
on a
I've been
consistent
busy.
basis. I cover it.
Yeah, but for example, that's a third reign. Oh no, wait. Uh, I don't I haven't watched NGPW for way too long. I should. I mean, it's a really good company.
Oh, dude, it is one of the legit best promotions I have ever watched.
Oh
The
yeah,
day I
I
discovered it on March 15th, 2015 was one of the best days of my damn life. Just
yeah
because I was so pissed off at watching the other product. WWE in 2015 was absolute garbage, and I remember it very, very well, and I don't want to remember that. The entire year that Seth Rollins' championship reign got completely like, oh, I'm gonna screw you over constantly. Like, you're gonna constantly lose. One of my least favorite things about certain championship reigns.
yep.
It just 2015 was just a bad year, and finding New Japan, finding PWG, finding Ring of Honor was one of the best things ever.
Yeah, for me indeed, PWG really changed my view on wrestling, just on how it can be, how it. I mean, I wouldn't say should be, but PWG is really amazing, and
Yeah,
same
definitely.
goes for I watch quite a bit of Progress these days.
This is progress. Da, da,
Dun,
da, da,
dun, dun,
da.
dun. Yeah, exactly. Progress. They're just
I've
companies.
been trying to get, I've been just trying to catch up on progress as of recently.
Um,
Like I'm
well,
pretty behind.
be sure. At least like chapter 55, which
Yeah, Chase
had
the Sun.
sorry.
Yeah, it's called Chase the Sun.
Yeah, Chase the Sun in Alexandra
I still
Palace.
have to watch that.
That was an amazing chapter. Um, yeah, that progress is great. But yeah,
Yeah.
2015 was a very bad year for WWE indeed.
Oh, horrible year.
Exactly. What
It's
kind of
also
shit
the
do
year I
we have?
discovered wrestling amino.
Same. Oh man, yeah. That actually made it a lot better. I think if in 2015 I hadn't discovered Wrestling Amino, I might have actually stopped watching. Um,
You know, man, I was thinking the same thing.
yeah, I think it really saved my wrestling fandom.
Yeah, that's the thing. But I don't like being just a WWE fan because it's, to be honest, I am not a massive fan anymore. I watch the product when after it airs mainly because I can fast forward. Because I don't like spending 3 hours at a time watching wrestling. I only do that with certain promotions. I do that with WWE pay-per-views, but I also do it
hmm
to promotions like Progress or New Japan.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, WWE is really always a roller coaster of quality, if you ask me.
Yeah, it's just like you get a good match and then you get shit for the rest of the night. That is WWE in a nutshell. I love the promotion, trust me. I've been a loyal fan of them and I've decided to not stop watching them.
hmm
Mainly because A, I have topics to cover on Wrestling Amino,
Uh-huh, yeah.
and I also want to constantly focus on the product. Mainly because no matter what, WWE will be part of my life regardless.
Yeah. So what parts of WWE do you watch? You watch
I watch
Ross.
Raw, SmackDown, and NXT.
No 205?
No, man. I have no reason to.
Yeah, neither do I anymore. The
I
cruiserweight
stopped
division is
watching. I stopped watching after the 30th episode.
yeah, the
I
cruiserweight
used to
division
watch.
is oh.
I watched NXT. I watched 205 Live for a while. Sometimes they had occasional good matches,
Mhm.
but they were always hit or miss.
Yeah.
Especially with the dead ass crowd.
Yeah, but of course it's after SmackDown, so the crowd just has had a night full of matches
And
and
including half the
storylines
card
and
is always missing.
yeah, true. So
That's a
yeah,
topic.
the cruiserweight division is in shambles, if you ask me. If you look at all the talent, we discussed this briefly before we got to the podcast, and it's in shambles.
Yeah,
Just
it is not good.
no, just the
While
talent that they
the
have.
names are good, the entire booking of the cruiserweight division has been kind of crap since the very beginning.
Yeah,
It only really got good when Neville came in and turned heel and became one of the top heels of the company.
yeah.
One thing I'll say about that, by the way, Neville. Neville is such an underrated heel in my view.
Oh yeah, he
Like,
definitely is. He's one of the or at least before he walked out. Uh,
yeah,
reportedly, I'm not gonna point any fingers. But
says that he's an indefinite leave.
yeah, exactly. So he was one of the best heels in WWE,
Yeah,
and
he definitely is, or was.
yeah, but
But he was also a good heel in NXT.
oh, absolutely, yeah. Was against Sami Zayn where he
Oh yeah,
basically showed some very solid heel work, promo wise as well. Yeah. Neville is just an alright. He's very good in ring. He's very good on the
oh
mic.
fantastic in the ring.
He is.
Oh
Oh man.
dude, his microphone skills have definitely improved, especially
Oh,
when he
absolutely.
turned heel in WWE. You know, certain people's microphone skills get better as soon as they go up to the main roster.
Mhm.
That is the legit truth. Neville is an example of that, and AJ Styles is an example of that.
Oh man, AJ Styles. I used to not really be able to listen to him on the mic because it wasn't too good, but now, man,
Dude
he.
is great.
I mean, if
Like
you look at it,
if you remember one of his first matches, I know his first feud was with Chris Jericho,
Mm-hmm.
and I remember that very well, mainly because all of their matches were great, except
Yeah,
the
they were.
WrestleMania one, which was truly hit or miss.
Yeah, exactly. It
But in
was a
his
bit disappointing.
rivalry with 2016 Roman Reigns, it was bad. The promos were notably very bad. Especially there was one on SmackDown that I remember that was completely garbage.
Oh yeah, I don't really remember what he said in it, but the promo was not really not too
Not
good.
good.
No, just garbage. I usually don't want to say
Considering
that,
how
but
both, yeah, they were. They're both kind of. They were kind of both really bad on the microphone at the time.
and luckily, Roman Reigns and AJ Styles both really make up for that with their in-ring skills. Because say what you want, Roman Reigns is very, very good in-ring. He can really carry a match.
I can agree with that
Uh, people tend to shit on Roman Reigns. But
on a
the
daily basis.
sorry,
I said on a daily basis,
on a
but I
daily
said it as
basis,
a
yeah.
fast thing.
But Roman Reigns really can wrestle so well. He puts on some great matches.
Yeah,
Like,
I can definitely name a list of some of his best matches.
man, even he
Just everything post 16, I could just say that.
no, but for real, even in 2015, his match against the Big Show at Extreme Rules, the Last Man Standing
Oh
match,
yeah.
that
Yeah,
was a
I
great
didn't see that
match.
full match.
Oh,
I didn't see
it
the full
was a great
match.
match. You actually should watch all of it because Roman Reigns is a very solid in-ring worker, and the guy works his ass off like all year. He is one of the hardest workers in WWE. That's what I hear Dave say at least.
Hmm.
Um, like he is a workhorse, and he really, really is a good wrestler and a good man overall. If you see him with children, for example, just fans meeting him, he
Hmm.
seems like a likable guy, and he does not deserve the negativity that he gets. His booking is not his fault. He can't do anything about it. I mean, I wouldn't want to change anything about it if I was in his
Whenever it comes to
position.
that, whenever it comes to booking of Roman Reigns, including this type of thing, you should not boo the wrestler. You should boo the booker.
Exactly,
That's at
exactly.
least in my view.
And I
It's
mean,
just like sometimes I want to boo Gato. Gato is the head booker for New
the yeah,
Japan.
New Japan, yeah.
Yeah, and sometimes I want to boo him mainly because of the junior division, including the tag team division, even the never openweight six-man tag championships, or the never openweight championship alone. Sometimes I want to do that type of thing, but I also have to remember Gato is the reason he puts on consistent and good shows.
Yeah,
So he has stuff that makes it even better, at least in my view.
yeah. I mean,
I don't want
overall,
to see I don't want to see a promotion that's consistently bad.
no, exactly, and luckily that really isn't the case anywhere. I mean, WWE has its ups and downs, but it never is consistently bad.
Hmm.
Except 2015 really sucked. I mean, I never want to see the love triangle or love square again.
Oh, just
Yeah, let's not
why'd
talk
you
about that.
have to
Yeah,
remind me?
exactly. Let's not talk about that. Let's talk about a brighter part of WWE instead, which is NXT.
Oh yeah, NXT is actually doing surprisingly well. I fast forward through a lot of NXT mainly because it's easy to watch. If you skip the promos and entrances, I do that with WWE and every other
Yeah,
promotion. Mainly because I love hearing the music in the beginning, but I've also heard it so many times where I just don't need to listen to it.
yeah, exactly.
So I do a lot of skipping.
Yeah, same.
But I know what's going on in the current product on NXT. Has
NXT is
a
really
lot of good
solid.
feuds.
Yeah,
Yeah, which is actually very surprising because in 2016 that title went through an absolute killing. It was like an absolute mugging. That title lost a lot of credibility,
oh, it
especially
did.
after it changed hands a couple dozen times.
Yeah, but you know, luckily now they're rebuilding. They're doing actually really well this year. They changed up the whole product, at least the theme of it. And I
Yeah.
want to talk about one feud that is the perfect example of two guys you wouldn't imagine having a feud together, but still it's really, really, really entertaining to watch. Do you already know what feud I'm talking about?
Oh, let me think. Andrade and Drew.
Uh, that's a very good one, which is something I didn't expect and pleasantly surprises me. But there's even one more
Adam
kind
Cole
of.
and Drew.
I mean, Adam Cole and Drew was kind of expected when Adam Cole came into the.
Sanity versus the Authors of Pain.
Well, I mean,
Oh,
that
oh,
happened already.
I know what you're talking about.
Well,
Aleister Black versus
exactly,
Velveteen.
exactly. But for real though, have you watched the segments and basically everything leading up to the feud?
Yeah, it's actually been very interesting. I was just saying this to one of my friends recently. I absolutely love their feud. It's just so
Exactly,
interesting.
exactly, and
Two gimmicks that are total polar opposites of
exactly.
their each other's gimmicks.
And if you look at it, for example, I never thought I would like to see the Velveteen Dream versus Aleister Black. I mean, I would have probably before enjoyed Aleister Black versus, for example, Cassius Ohno or Hideo Itami.
Oh,
Hideo
Jesus.
Itami was a feud actually, but no. For example, thought I would have enjoyed like Cassius Ohno versus Aleister Black way more, but now that actually the feud Aleister Black versus the Velveteen Dream is happening, I absolutely love it.
Hmm.
Oh man,
Yeah.
yeah. NXT has.
Just a topic about Cassius Ono. I want to talk about a certain topic. This will only be a minute. Don't worry about that.
Oh yeah.
Whenever it comes to certain people in NXT, we all know NXT hires the better workhorse wrestlers.
Mhm.
We all know this. They hire Kyle O'Reilly, they hire Cassius Ono, they hire Johnny Gargano, they
Yeah.
hire Hideo Itami, they hire Andrade Cien, including they hire Aleister Black. But one of their biggest cons, and there's a reason all these wrestlers get mistreated, almost all of them do, whenever they go up to the main roster, and that is mainly because of a massive charisma problem. Now, don't get me wrong, Aleister Black is very charismatic. Same
Yeah.
thing with Cassius Ono. But we also have to remember Cassius Ono is the knockout artist. He doesn't have a great entire gimmick. That's a big con with NXT and whenever they come up to the main roster. Mainly because they can do incredibly well, but they're going to be pretty much booked poorly, mainly because they're a good wrestler and a good wrestler alone.
Yeah. I agree on you with that. Recently though, I believe WWE has switched it up a bit. If you, for example, look at the NXT roster right now, you have Sanity, of course, who have a very clear gimmick. You have
Yeah, Sanity I see having a lot of very good success on the main roster.
yeah.
That's something that you don't see a lot in today's WWE.
Oh no, absolutely
Factions.
not. No, no factions. Factions used to be in the Attitude Era, be like
Yeah.
the biggest thing. And if you
Now
look
they're
at
all
it
broke
now,
now.
no, they're just
There's
gone.
not
Yeah,
one.
and
Yeah, they have New Day, but that's not even a faction.
that's just a team.
Yeah, the factions are a key part of making a product kind of unpredictable, at least in my view.
I mean, when we look back at NXT, the very first stages of NXT, and with that the Nexus, for example, that
Yeah,
faction
that
brought
was
a
a.
lot of unpredictability to the WWE.
And then they got buried by John Cena.
Oh, isn't that the story of everyone's life?
Yeah.
No, but no, I mean John Cena these days just is one of the wrestlers I have the most respect for, of course.
Oh, dude. Like in 2015, I kind of despised him in a lot of ways, especially in the very beginning. This was post WrestleMania. I've always respected John Cena in a lot of ways. I actually used to be a massive fan of him in
Same.
2012 when I first started watching WWE.
Yeah.
But I later learned to respect wrestlers, and then I started to respect John Cena even more, especially for the matches he's had, especially in 2015 alone.
2015.
2015 was a good year for John Cena.
And just he elevated
He
a lot of
started.
talent. For example, Kevin Owens wouldn't be where he is now
Oh,
if
dude,
that
definitely.
feud with John Cena hadn't happened.
I remember when so many people said that Kevin Owens was mistreated, but I was just saying he's only. This is at least in my view. He's literally only mistreated if he loses constantly.
Yeah, yeah,
That is the legit truth. That's every wrestler, to be honest. If he's used poorly, he's being mistreated in a lot of ways. Seth Rollins was an example of that whenever he was champion. Kevin Owens was too.
yeah. Same. Yeah, I
I
agree.
was predicting that with Finn on day one, but that didn't happen because Finn got injured.
Yeah, I believe the plan that after SummerSlam actually indeed was Kevin Owens versus Finn Balor, which would have done quite a bit for both guys. I mean, would have kept maybe Goldberg and Brock Lesnar out of the picture for just a bit longer, but we can't know because it didn't happen. But yeah, as you say, Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens during their reigns they were mistreated, and
Definitely.
you
Both
know
reigns respectively.
exactly, and you don't want that to happen to a wrestler who is
Seth Rollins in particular was the one that was kind of completely screwed over. In 2015, I think we both knew what WWE was trying to do. They were trying to make Seth Rollins break the record. I can
yeah.
almost guarantee that.
Oh yeah.
WWE had a massive thing, especially in 2015 through 2016, of breaking records. And they did that whenever it came to the New Day defeating the Road Warriors reign. They did that with Asuka when she beat every other reign.
And Nikki Bella even with beating AJ Lee's
Oh
reign.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, don't remind me of Nikki Bella.
Nikki Bella these days is very, very good, though. I mean, please
In the ring,
don't deny.
yes,
Yeah.
but I just don't like her gimmick.
Okay. Yeah, I can understand that. Um. Yeah. WWE is a weird company. Like, can we please say that?
Yeah, it's an understatement.
It's really an understatement. So let's indeed shift the attention while still keeping a bit of a connection to WWE. A topic we wanted to discuss was the rumor um,
With
of
very air quotes.
very, very large quotes. I mean, but still, it's a rumor, and it might have some credibility to it, but we won't know. It's Y2J versus his Winnipeg. Um, the other wrestler from Winnipeg who puts on 6.25 star matches. I'm of course talking about Kenny Omega. Chris Jericho, Kenny Omega, Wrestle Kingdom 12. Is there any credibility to it? Will it happen?
It really depends on where the feud starts. Whenever
Mm-hmm.
it comes to New Japan, they usually bring in a wrestler in the very end of the year. They
Yeah.
almost always do this. They're doing it this year. But it's a weird question on who it's going to be. Like, it could be Chris Jericho. And I know how very far-fetched it sounds. But if it is Chris Jericho, he should appear at New Japan's Power Struggle pay-per-view and challenge Kenny Omega. And they'll have a great match. And then Kenny Omega has more prestige for that championship.
Mm-hmm.
And he can do whatever the hell he wants. I
Yeah.
like the idea of Kenny Omega and Chris Jericho, who wouldn't. Both of them are the legit two best Canadian wrestlers on the freaking planet.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, no denying.
Hell, I would like to see Edge versus Kenny Omega, but that's not going to happen.
No. I mean,
Or Daniel Bryan versus
yeah,
Kenny
that's
Omega.
that's
I know
exactly
that
what I was going
happened.
to say. It happened at
I know,
PWG.
I know, yeah, I know it happened in
I mean,
2009, I believe.
yeah, but
Kenny Omega was champion.
I was exactly going to say that. Daniel Bryan, if he returns to the ring, which I doubt will happen in WWE, I think he definitely should face Kenny Omega. I mean,
Yeah, in a lot of ways, I see Daniel Bryan leaving WWE very soon. I believe
same,
it's like
same.
sometime in 2018. I believe it's in December
Yeah, could
is
be
when he
that is
officially
confirmed. Yeah.
leaves. Yeah, because the entire basis of Ring of Honor right now is the entire basis of Daniel Bryan versus Cody.
Yeah.
Because if you haven't noticed, in at least the last two matches that Cody has had for the Ring of Honor World Championship, in his matches against Sonata and Minoru Suzuki, he has been signaling Daniel Bryan, doing the yes taunt,
Yeah,
doing
I saw
the
that. Yeah.
yes lock.
I mean,
And even though I hate the idea of that feud, it's just I see Daniel Bryan coming to Ring of Honor. I
yeah,
see him going to New Japan.
there's something in Daniel Bryan returning to the ring wherever it is. Uh, that's just intriguing to me because I mean, if Kurt Angle is allowed to wrestle again in a TLC match for F's
Considering
sake,
how that man has a history
yeah.
of having concussions
Oh, and a broken
and
neck or
jumping off
something,
rings and
Uh,
jumping off rings.
yeah, exactly. So, I mean, if you look at it that way, Daniel Bryan, why isn't he allowed to wrestle? I mean,
Like WWE has a major concussion policy.
I know
That
they
is
do.
the
Yeah,
legit
that's
truth. And the entire I definitely agree with their methods, but not allowing wrestlers to work even though they were cleared by their own
yeah.
doctor.
By the who, in Daniel Bryan's case, that doctor I think it might have been the NFL concussion doctor.
And that guy has more credibility than WWE doctors.
Oh, absolutely, because that doctor actually specialized in concussions. But I mean Daniel
And the
Bryan, of
fact that he
course.
said he could wrestle, that's saying something.
Yeah, of course. But then again, of course, Daniel Bryan did get a result from one doctor, which basically I don't know if WWE basically forced him to retire at that point, but he did. Now
And when he
retirements in
returns to the ring, he'll
wrestling,
be legendary.
it
The,
will.
the real question that I really am questioning is if I'm not sure if wrestlers like Daniel Bryan, the ones that are booked in a general manager role, for example, if they get a 60-day no-compete clause. I think every wrestler gets that, especially
Yeah,
after they leave WWE.
a 90-day non-compete
The
clause, I
90.
think it is.
I thought it was 60. Whatever.
Could it be 60? I don't know. Let me actually check. Just talk about what you were going to say.
I might as well promote it.
Oh yeah, sure.
Wrestling Amino officially does have a Twitter, and I am the current person who runs it. I'm literally the only person who runs it, and I focus a lot on posting whatever is on Wrestling Amino, including do my mini series known as Match of the Day. We're currently on episode 20. Even though I haven't uploaded today's match, I'll upload it after today. And follow Wrestling Amino on Twitter is legit one of my favorite things to do. 70 followers and counting. Hopefully we can get more. It is something that we definitely need, and it's something I plan to keep on doing. We've been retweeted constantly by wrestlers, especially guys like Raymond Rowe,
Mhm.
Hanson, including liked by Nigel McGuinness. So yeah.
So quickly shout out the handle. So
Oh, okay. At Wrestling Amino 1.
at Wrestling Amino One, please people check them out on Twitter. Follow them on Twitter. Like their tweets. Retweet their tweets. I'm following them and they post, or yeah, I should say, you post a match of the day every day,
Yeah.
which is very much worth the watch, and you don't want to miss that. So please follow Wrestling Amino One on Twitter. It's really worth your time. And now that we're on the topic of Twitter, anyways, um, controversial. I'm not going to talk about this for long. I know you don't want to talk about it for long.
We're
By the
only
way,
doing it because it's a topic.
yeah. By the way, I checked it. It is a 90-day non-compete clause.
Oh, it is 90. I thought it was 60.
But Adam Blampier. I'm just gonna say I'm not gonna do an intro for him. Adam Blampier.
Yeah, the controversy revolving around him is absolutely disgusting.
It is. I know I said on Twitter before I knew all the details. That
I haven't really paid attention massively to this story. Mainly because I actually liked Adam Blampier for a little while. He had a
Yeah.
very entertaining personality. And I remember one of the comments and the articles that were written on Wrestling Amino about it, talking about how the person didn't care about how this woman was mistreated and just focused on the entire article itself. Or like a possible how WWE would have booked that type of shit. I saw a
Yes.
comment like that, and I was absolutely disgusted.
Same.
Those types of people who only focus on that type of thing is absolutely stupid.
It is. And I said, which I have a very different view on now. I do not condone Blampier's action. It must be said, however, that him admitting this is a small yet significant step to recovery.
Yeah, definitely.
It is.
Definitely
I mean,
everything.
I
Definitely.
mean, it is. Then
I
again,
know he probably he was about to get exposed. I'm almost
exactly. Yeah.
guaranteeing that
Yeah.
he was
That
about
was the
to.
case.
But the fact that he actually wrote an entire article about it is actually saying something about him. Now, I don't care what anyone says. Adam Blampier was ready for whenever this stuff kind of thing happened. That's literally the only thing I'll ever say.
Yeah.
He written an article about it. He didn't write like oh I'm sorry and that type of shit. He actually wrote something about it. I give him massive respect for that he didn't leave it at one paragraph only.
Yeah. And what I'm
That's
going
a
to
certain
say
thing I
about
hate about
this,
wrestling, man, on the way.
what Blampier did was disgusting and is something that should never be done by anyone to anyone. I get that there's a lot of emotional damage done to the women
The woman.
involved, especially as they admitted that they weren't in too great of a mental condition when Blampier messaged them in the way he did. Um,
Hmm.
I hope
Dude,
I hope
I don't get the aspect of sending nudes. I don't get
No,
that
neither do
aspect.
I. Neither do I. But I hope
Considering
Adam
I'm a
Blampier.
man with history.
Oh wow. I hope Adam Blampier recovers from all of the this whole situation. I hope it seems like he's smart enough to never do something like this again, and
Yeah.
I feel like Adam Blampier has a lot of good qualities as a person to him as well. This was a
Yeah, I could definitely
disgusting
say that.
act,
Yes,
but
definitely. It was definitely disgusting.
you know, this act is not the only thing that makes Adam Blampier. There's a lot of other stuff that he has done for example, what culture, that is good. I mean, this of course is a very nasty spot in Adam Blampier's reputation, but please, Adam Blampier is a human and has a lot of different sides to him. This is not the only side of Adam Blampier. He has
Yeah,
done
I
a lot of
have
good
that
things
entire
as well.
view. I have that entire view on Chris Benoit in a lot of ways. Yes, he murdered his children, including his wife, but he was also an incredible technical wrestler.
Exactly,
That's at least in my view. That's my
exactly.
view with a lot of wrestlers who have controversy over them. I look for their good qualities more than anything.
Yeah, and this is all I was going to say about Adam Blampier. I hope that people understand my view. I hope that people understand Mike's view on this. Um, and if you have something you want to say to us, for me at least, please do not hesitate to message me. I would be very willing to talk to anyone. If at any time you need any support or someone to listen to you, for whatever reason, I am here for you. I will always listen on Wrestling Amino. Just hit me up. You can hit me up on Twitter as well. Um, I don't mind. Just if something's bothering you, you can always talk to me. Just know that.
And I'll do the same thing with me.
Uh, that's great to
I
hear.
I am a curator of Wrestling Amino, so I do pay attention to the controversy and everything. So I always pay attention to what the hell is going on.
Yeah.
And I always talk to the fans whenever I can, mainly because the entire fan base of wrestling is truly what makes wrestling itself, at
Mhm.
least in my
Mhm.
view. WWE fans are in a lot of ways very irritable to me, but whenever they start to actually make sense and whenever they want to talk about something, it's something I really try to focus on.
Yeah.
It's an understatement, but I actually legit care about the entire wrestling community as itself. I do admit that we are constantly butthurt, but whenever it comes to the entire fan base, we are a damaged society. That is the
Mhm.
legit truth. It could be the post 9/11 world. It could be whatever's going on in current politics and all that other type of bullshit. But no matter what, we are in a damaged community, especially in the wrestling world.
Yeah. I see your standpoint on it, and I agree. You know, the wrestling community, we're indeed, as you said, a butthurt
Yeah, understatement.
fans. Yeah. Yeah. We're just a bunch of fucking morons at times. I'm going to say it
Yeah,
like that.
understatement.
But you know, in the end, please,
We're all
we all
fans.
love talking about wrestling. We love being fans of wrestling,
I
And
like
that's what
writing
we
about
should
it.
continue to do. Yeah, some people like to write about it. Some people like to be in wrestling amino leagues and accomplish absolutely nothing and never get a world title. I'm not
Oh,
talking
Jesus Christ,
about
about
personal. I'm not talking about personal experience or anything. No,
what are you talking about?
no, but yeah, wrestling
Already,
amino, man.
yeah, yeah, definitely.
No,
Wrestling
but
Amino, all right. Wrestling
yeah,
Amino is a good community. I have a lot of good friends over there,
same.
especially Luke.
Yeah, yeah, I love you well, buddy, as well, buddy. So no, oh man, and now, well, we were on the topic of controversy, and there was another bit of controversy in the wrestling world today, or in this week, I should say, with a certain ex-owner of this company, which
Known as GFW.
yeah, and I mean Impact
Jeff
slash
Jarrett.
GFW had been a sinking ship for a long time, but now
Oh,
Jeff Jarrett fucked it up.
Jeff Jarrett fucks almost everything up.
Exactly.
It is the legit truth. He
So,
fucked up TNA. He
hmm
fucked up having Dixie Carter run that shit in 2016.
yep,
And it really ticks me off because
yeah.
I recently started getting back into GFW.
Oh
And
god.
I recently stopped watching again, mainly because the product wasn't consistently good. I hated the storylines. I hated Grado. I absolutely
Oh, the Grado
despised.
storyline was weird.
Yeah, it's just I didn't really like GFW and the way it was going. That I had a massive feeling something bad was about to happen, and man, was I right.
Yep. And I mean, it's one thing to have your, well, basically brand GFW and TNA cut ties. And then you have Jeff Jarrett doing other stupid shit. Uh,
Yeah,
Namely, pulling a Victory Road 2011. Um, or at least wrestling drunk. I mean, who the fuck does that? Please. Why?
Jake Roberts.
Ah,
I
yeah,
know
true.
too soon, but
Yeah. But for real
or
though,
even fighters do that on occasion.
yeah, I mean, I get that, but Jeff Jarrett, man, that man has already fucked up so many things in the wrestling business, and then,
Oh, dude, he's fucked up. He almost fucked up his deal with AAA. That is a
yeah,
legit thing. That's the legit thing that keeps TNA on a consistent basis of being interesting.
I'm going to record a sound bit after the show, just saying Jeff Jarrett fucked up, and then every time in the podcast going on from here, Jeff Jarrett fucks something up, which I know he will because it is Jeff Jarrett. Um,
Jeff
I'm just gonna play
Jarrett
it.
fucks everything up.
Oh man, I might take that as a snippet and just
Jeff
just use it.
Jarrett fucks everything up.
Okay, one more time.
Okay. Jeff Jarrett fucks everything up.
That's so definitely going into every Jeff Jarrett
I've
fucks up
used my girly
situation.
voice. Use my girly voice.
Yeah, I will. Oh man. No, but yeah, Jeff Jarrett. Oh man, I don't even want to talk about this man anymore.
Yeah, the man is despicable.
He is. So something you wanted to talk about, and I'm very interested to hear about, is a company that is very underrated in your opinion, and I haven't watched it, so I wouldn't know. But I'm sure I'll agree with you once you make your point. Stardom Women's Wrestling. Please, please, tell me more about it.
Stardom is a promotion in Japan, and it's exclusive to women's wrestlers. Now, a lot of people from the get-go think that women's wrestling is absolutely garbage. I see that in a lot of comments on YouTube videos. I see that a lot in other things. But in my opinion, Stardom is a very underrated promotion, mainly because there's not that many people that know about it. They know certain women's promotions such as Shine, such as Shimmer, but they don't know where the best Joshi, or in my opinion known as, or actually what's actually termed, Joshi means women's wrestler, or
Mm-hmm.
women's Perusu recently. I think it's,
Yeah.
yeah, that kind of thing. It's a weird topic. But whatever with that. whenever it comes to Stardom, there is not a promotion that puts out a consistently good product known as Stardom. And there's one thing that is really a big problem at WWE, that Stardom is a pretty much a big example of pretty much proving people wrong in a lot of ways, and that is having a consistently good match. Especially, that's something that WWE doesn't even have, especially in the women's division.
Yeah, yeah.
Stardom's women's division, or every division in particular, is actually very interesting. They all have interesting gimmicks, and that's actually saying something about most WWE women, and that is they don't really have that many gimmicks. And especially in Stardom, they have a Odeyo Tai, which is featuring Tam Nakano. He features Chris Wolf, features two other women, can't remember. Hana Kimura, and my favorite of the entire group, Cage Stew. I'm not sure if I'm saying the name right, but that faction is
Kagetsu or whatever. I don't know, but please.
But that faction is just absolutely amazing. They can be entertaining on a consistent basis, and they all feature incredible matches. But Cage Stew, as I said, is an absolutely incredible talent. I'm going to be showcasing a lot of women's wrestlers in an article that I'm going to be uploading very soon. I'm going to be talking about a topic that I know was kind of like put under the rug for a little while. The entire Bill Bahati incident, or that entire thing that happened on Wrestling Amino recently.
Yeah.
Or Wrestling World, whatever. But I'm going to be talking about that very soon, and I'm going to be showcasing a lot of wrestlers that proved people wrong, such as Kate, like Io Shirai.
I don't know if the recording is picking up on this, but there seem to be slight connection problems.
What?
I can hear you
great.
again now. Okay, yeah, I can hear you again. Okay, no, it was just a slight issue there.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Okay, then we'll go on.
I can hear you.
Okay, so Stardom should definitely be checked out by anyone, you say?
Yeah, definitely. I can just say, if you like women's wrestling and you want to see consistent good wrestling, I cannot recommend Stardom enough. Purchase it on Stardom World, and it's only for 699 yen, which I believe is like 611, if I remember correctly. Because I know New Japan is 999 yen. At least I think so. Let me see. I think
it's $6.14, and that's per month.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's quite a value if the product is as you described, which I can only believe is.
It's consistently good.
It's consistently good. So please, everyone, if you have time left, if you have just $6.14 left, please check it out. I'm sure I will check out what I can find without having to pay for it, just to see if it's my
cup of tea.
Cup of tea, yeah. I believe it very well might be. I've seen some work, for example, Chris Wolf. I think Toni Storm is in Stardom as well.
Yeah, she's the world champion of
Stardom. She's
the
world champion even. Yeah, so...
I'll probably talk about that just for a second, by the way.
Okay, please do, yeah.
As of recently, Stardom did a show. I gotta remember the date, so I'm going to the website. So, I gotta find the exact date, but it was one of their recent shows. I actually covered it, and the reason I covered it is mainly because I love covering Stardom, because Stardom, as I said, does a good product and everything. But Stardom did a show recently on the 24th of September, and it featured a very controversial main event. Featured a match between Toni Storm and Mayu Iwatani. In this match, Mayu Iwatani broke one of her arms on a drop kick.
Oh, that's...
And it was really, really, really sad, mainly because I am a massive fan of Mayu Iwatani. It was borderline kind of screwed up how she broke her arm. You know, whenever it comes to Stardom, I'm going to give them not that much credit here, but whenever it comes to them, or whenever it comes to this promotion is legit the king of drop kicks.
Yeah.
They legit king. It's literally probably like the first move they ever do. And that is saying something, mainly because in the very first match you see a couple dozen drop kicks.
Yeah.
Like, I have cons about Stardom and the entire thing about hiring children, but eh. Whenever, whenever it comes to the very beginning matches of Stardom, they usually feature 3 new showcase talents, and these usually feature girls that are usually in the ages of 13 to 17.
Uh-huh.
And that's the thing about Stardom. That's one of my biggest cons about them, and the fact that they do this type of thing.
Yeah.
I understand ages like 16 to 17, but I do not understand ages like 13 to 15.
Yeah, no,
I've
that's
never
quite
gotten
wrong.
that.
Yeah. But overall, Stardom is a very solid company that should be checked out by
Yeah,
anyone.
definitely.
Okay. So please do so. I've said before in the podcast, but apparently it's really worth your time. I'm sure I'll check it out a bit. Have you already posted a daily match for it?
No, I haven't.
Okay,
And the Stardom doesn't cover it.
okay, no, yeah.
Stardom
So
doesn't have a YouTube channel, so I can't really post it. And I don't.
okay,
And I literally heard this from one of my curator friends, and he said, "You don't post pirated material. It's literally the one thing you don't want to do."
no, I can kind of get that. But yeah, it's 6.14 a month. Uh, might very well be worth your time. I have someone here who says it is. Maybe you should believe him on his word.
Especially if you watch, or actually not watch, you read my articles about it. I'm going to be
Yeah.
covering Stardom later this week. I'm going to be covering one of their most recent shows, and I still have to watch it, but I'll probably be finished with it in probably like an hour.
Oh wow.
Also, that's another thing. Stardom is a very short show. It usually features a show that goes on for at least probably like under an hour and a half.
Oh wow. That's quite
And
short.
it features usually 6 matches, but at least 2 to 3 of them are usually good.
Okay. Yeah. No. That's.
And they have a lot of good championships, and they have a tag title, they have a trios title, they have 2 world titles. One they have like a high speed title, which is just like a cruiserweight version, but I don't even think it's for cruiserweights. I think it's just for people who are fast.
Oh
Stardom's
okay.
a
Yeah.
weird
That's.
promotion. They have weird booking, but Stardom is good. It is a good promotion. While the attendance isn't massive for them, and it's not like the times like of AJW or All Japan Women's Wrestling,
Mhm.
it's a step in the right direction. Women's wrestling deserves to have more credibility, at least in my view. I have a massive respect for women's wrestling, considering if anyone knows me personally, if they have listened to me, especially in the very beginning of my wrestling amino career, especially in the era of the very beginning of 2016, I written an article about my entire personal life experience with a certain thing that I'm not going to talk about massively, but it was something that would lose a lot of my credibility to whenever I loved about wrestling,
Yeah.
aka adult entertainment. I'm not going to talk that much about it, but adult entertainment almost ruined my life, and women's wrestling pretty much made my entire life feel better.
Uh huh.
And entirely women's wrestling, I don't view as objection or objectifying. I don't see it
No.
as that.
No.
I see women's wrestling as legit entertaining.
It
I
is.
see it as entertaining.
It is as.
Certain gimmicks, but women's wrestling is good.
Oh yeah, it definitely is. It definitely is. I agree with that. I agree. Yeah, on that with you. That's what I should have said. So I am seeing we're approaching the 1 hour mark. Really quickly.
Yeah.
Is there anything you would like to still say to anyone listening?
Let me think. Yeah. Yeah, Storm's a good promotion. Progress does a lot of good stuff. There's a lot of promotions out there. I recently started watching AAW, which is actually a pretty decent promotion, and they put out a good product whenever they can. There's a lot of promotions that I watch, especially if people know that I have favorites that I dedicate to certain things. Like, whenever it comes to the product I watch, I usually have a favorite name watch list, which is legit every promotion I've ever watched, including how behind I am on them. So yeah, that's kind of a thing. I also update my daily list of matches, which I rate from 3 to 5, and I am enjoying that still. I just recently hit the 1,000 match, and I'm very, very happy about that. Very big thing that happened. And there's a lot of good things about that favorite that I'm going to be bringing in, especially in 2018. I'm very excited for 2018. That's the only thing I'll say. I'm
All
also
right.
trying to make sure I write more. One of my biggest goals in 2018 is to write more, mainly because this year was kind of hit or miss. Well, this year was the showcase that the fact that I can write something besides news. If anyone knows the story behind that, I had an entire gimmick, especially in the very beginning of the year, of me trying to prove to people that I can do more than news. And that is the legit truth. And that is, I did the articles showcasing New Japan's year, including articles like the best of the underground, the best of progress, the best of every other promotion. And I want to consistently tell people that, yes, I upload news, but I also can be a consistently good writer.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that I'm not gonna say this right here. I'm not the best editor. I'm gonna legit say that on the podcast right now. I am not a good editor. I get that. I am one of the guys who gets pictures, puts them in a thing, and literally it. That's literally it.
I mean,
And when it's in black and white, that's legit it.
I think I'm the very much living example of the fact that you're not the best editor. Um,
I can think of someone.
if you say DC, I will fucking murder you and put your head on the stake.
Yeah, Daisy's in the list, but a guy who's actually a very underrated editor is Zero, at least in my view.
Is Zero even anywhere around anymore these days?
I don't even know. I haven't even talked to him in a long time.
Zero is a good lad, but he's
Yeah.
he's dead.
Yeah.
Nah. Anyways, I think we.
I'm
covered...
surprised we didn't talk about Styles and Finn Balor.
We didn't. Well, fuck, we've been over the 1 hour mark as well. This is a good ending to the podcast. Let's please talk about Finn Balor versus AJ Styles for just a moment.
Yeah, they put on a very, very entertaining match, and the entire thing at the end with the very too sweet was actually very, very good. And
I mean, it got
it
the
is something.
fans. The fans, man.
You got the fans to mark out, and that's saying something. And that's saying something about the WWE product, because you don't really see those types of moments. You only see that really at WrestleMania, and that is pretty sad in a lot of ways. But I would really like to see those types of moments where the crowd just goes absolutely berserk, mainly because if without the entire crowd, wrestling doesn't have moments, at least in my view. If Finn Balor and AJ Styles did it too sweet in an empty arena, who would pretty much answer that? Literally no one.
No one.
And without the fans, wrestling is nothing. At least in my view.
No, I totally agree with
Without
that.
a fan base, wrestling is nothing.
Oh, absolutely
Wrestling needs a fan base to survive.
Yeah, absolutely. There's really no denying that, and I think what they pulled off at TLC, just AJ Styles being a last minute replacement, having had a flight of like 18 hours to get to TLC, and then still putting up one of the best matches, if not the best match in WWE this year. I mean, there's arguments for both sides there, but no, AJ Styles
definitely.
versus Finn Balor was
Definitely in the list of best singles matches of the year. That's the one
Absolutely.
thing I'll say. Like, the tag
Absolutely.
scene for WWE has been incredible. And,
certainly.
yeah, it's saying something consistently. Like, last year, it was pretty bad. But now, it's actually really, really good. It's actually very entertaining.
Oh, it
In terms of
definitely-
match
yeah, yeah.
quality.
Yeah, I mean, I think it helps that the New Day isn't champion for all
long.
time. So yeah, but no, but back to AJ Styles versus Finn Balor. I think it really is a match that showcases that if you give the fans something they want, they really get invested in it. They really buy it, and it really is just giving people their money's worth, and that's what at least the WWE should do more often, I believe.
Yeah. I have the entire aspect of giving WWE everything they want, or giving the fans what everything they want, but I just want to say this right now. The WWE fans, at least in my view, are a very key part of wrestling. Not in the aspect of the entire internet wrestling community, they are the IWC. In my opinion, the IWC is a major factor, and it brings a lot of wrestlers' names to the aspect of the entire wrestling world. But the real thing that really needs to be focused, especially in WWE, is the actual fans and the audience. That is the legit truth. The WWE fans and the audience can tell you if a show is going to be bad or good, at least in my view. You can literally see a crowd being so freaking dead, mainly because the product is consistently bad. Like, the crowd is only good almost 1 to 2 times a year. In NXT, I'll multiply that by 5 or 6.
Yeah, definitely.
But WWE needs to focus on their crowd. They do not need to focus on the IWC and all the people they need to sign. They legit have enough. They have enough wrestlers right now to go with WWE for a very long time if they're used correctly. But what WWE needs to find right now is the perfect match. Whenever they got AJ Styles is an example of the perfect match. He's a perfect wrestler. He is a perfect guy on the microphone. I'm not going to say perfect there, but he's great on the microphone. They need to find a wrestler who is a good wrestler and is very charismatic. Wrestlers like Aleister Black, for example, and that guy can work, but he can also be very convincing on the microphone.
Certainly. Absolutely. And NXT doesn't always have those kind of people. They indeed mainly go for the wrestlers, but as soon as they find that sweet combi, push him up after a while to the main roster and have him have a match with, for example, AJ Styles or any good wrestler on the
John Cena.
Exactly. It's just gold. It's gold.
The entire thing of Cena burying absolutely everyone is kind of bullshit to me, and I know we're going a lot over time here.
Oh, yeah. So, well, we've been over time for quite a while now, so
let's keep going.
Yeah, not for too long though. I mean, if there's anything quick you want to say about it, still.
Oh yeah. Yeah, John Cena definitely. He's not an entirely amazing ring worker. He can actually go in the ring for a long time. But the one thing, as of recently, I've seen with John Cena is that he's getting way too finisher heavy. If you noticed in any of his matches with AJ Styles, notably the last one, he was constantly using AAs. And that is something... Yeah, he was AA, Super AA, then the AA with the twist. That's the biggest cons about the entire John Cena AJ Styles feud, and that the matches were very finisher heavy. While their match at SummerSlam was like that in a lot of ways, it had a very convincing background and story to it. Where in the rivalry in 2017, it wasn't that much interesting. In 2016, it was very interesting, especially with the entire aspect of Styles turning heel for the very first time in WWE. Also, Styles is a very underrated heel.
Yeah, he might. I mean, I didn't really think so in 2016, but sure. It's an opinion, and I definitely respect your opinion. Might not agree, but I respect it. And with that, I would like to come to a bit of a closing of the podcast, if that's all right with you.
Yeah, it's fine.
So, Mike, I thank you so much for being on the podcast. It was really informative and fun to have you on here. I'm sure. I enjoyed it, at least. I don't know if you enjoyed it.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I'm just tired. I'm still waking up.
Yeah, and I'm in a very different time zone, and I'm at the point where I'm getting tired because I've been awake for too long. No, well, it's not even 8,
up
but
for like a couple hours at a time, dude. Like I've been up for 24 hours sometimes. It's pretty normal for me.
Oh wow. Well, please use your sleep wisely. No, I
Dude, I
really.
have the worst sleep schedule on the friggin' planet.
Oh man, I really thank you for being here. It was a really fun talk. And I'm sure the people of Wrestling Amino will really enjoy it as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Uh, yeah, thank you so much for being on there. If there's anything you
Anytime.
want to say quickly to the
Oh, yeah.
people.
If there's any other podcasters, let me know. I will be on the podcast mainly because I want to be more of on an active basis, especially on Wrestling Mino. So if anyone has an upcoming podcast that they want to be featured in text form or Skype form like this one, just let me know and I'll be part of it. I enjoy podcasting. I enjoy talking to people. And I enjoy talking back with our community.
Andy has a very good microphone, so take that into
Yeah, that's
consideration for
not a good
Skype.
thing.
Yeah, that's no, but for real, it was really nice having you. And maybe I'll see you back in the future. For
Maybe
now, I
possibly
have
after
like
your 6 other guests.
yeah, I have like 6 other guests. I don't want to say too much of who it is, but one
Yeah, don't
is
spoilers, baby.
one is a very well-known curator. Who
Oh.
is who back
Can I guess?
a few months ago? Oh, you can guess.
DJ?
He's a leader.
Oh, yeah. Paradoxal?
Para's cool, but no.
Heel?
Let me
No,
let
not
me
heel.
just say it like this. If you follow the Amino Wrestling aka League scene, a few months ago he held every title in the whole scene. He's genuinely a nice guy from England, and
Oh, from England. Peg?
it's pronounced Peggy. Did you know that?
Yes, maybe. Yeah,
Okay,
maybe.
yeah, no, but that's the case. No, Peggy might come on here soon. I don't know. Yeah, he will. And
I'm going to be honest right here. This is actually kind of funny in a lot of ways. I've always thought Peg was a girl.
oh
to be
no,
honest.
he's male.
Yeah, I've always thought he was a girl.
And for another guest, I have a former professional wrestler. So that's gonna
Oh,
be.
please tell me it's Prince.
It might very well be. No, but that's certainly going to be an interesting talk. I also have a wrestler in training as a guest lined up. He's not too much of a well-known amino user, but he's still a great guy. And a few others. So please stay tuned every week for the 3Count Podcast. I thank you so very much. Goodbye.
Thank you for watching.